Inflatable.
Oh, mate, perfect. And it is a 1, 2 or 3 person. We're going to test it in all of those modes today. Hi everyone, welcome back. Today I am super excited about this one because I think this, of all of the inflatable kayaks that have come onto the market in the last 12 months, 24 months, I think this one is going to be the one that's king of them all. We've got the Spinera Tenaya 160, and that brings up one massive question that thankfully I've never really had to consider. Is 5 inches enough to satisfy the inflatable kayak hardcore? And the reason I say that is because previous to this, the most famous, most popular, high-end, high-quality inflatable kayak has been the Shilan 155. Is that about to change today? Is the 5 inches that you get extra with the Tenaya going to swing it? Well, I'm going to find out today. 1, 2 seats, 3 seats. It's still quite light. It's not a massive heavy boat. You do get, I love these little extras that Spinera have been putting in recently. They've got a funky name for this. I can't remember what it is. It's like a splash cube or something. And it's really good. You get a cup holder or a cup. You could just use that as a cup. I've got a can of 0% Cobra beer to whack in there today. And in the pack you get your repair kit. And again, I love this. I really appreciate Spinera doing this. They're putting in 8 bolts for the accessories plates that are molded into the boat. You can put your fish finders on, sat navs and fishing rod holders. You get a spare Hawker Roberts valve and you get a spare valve plug. It's a big boat, so we've got a big pump. This isn't essential, it's just the one I had to hand this morning. I'm going to fill it with the Titan 2 from Red Paddle Co today. And I'll show you this amazing fin in a moment. Let's get the boat laid out, ready for inflation. It's an absolute whopper. 475 centimetres of pure quality inflatable kayak. So let's get this little beauty blown up. It's 15.6 feet long by 36 inches wide. The weight capacity on this one is 280 kilos. I don't think we're going to overdo that today. Getting close to the 3 psi now. A lot of people I know that have had a go on these have the urge to slightly overfill them. You really don't need to. The side tubes are made of Spintex. The floor is made of drop stitch. Side tubes 3 psi and the floor inflates to 6 psi. That doesn't sound a lot, and again, you'll get the urge to overinflate. You really do not need to. Basically a paddleboard in the bottom of your boat. It does the job. It keeps it really rigid. I did try an electric pump on the Tenaya 140. It's actually faster using a standard pump. And it's a good warm-up. Getting close to that 3 psi, 0.21 bar. Just about there. And then 6 psi on the floor, 0.41 bar on the drop stitch floor. And then we'll have a look at the fixtures and fittings, the quality, the build, before we take it out on the water and see what it's like functionality wise. On the drop stitch floor, and then we'll have a look at the fixtures and fittings. Between 5 and 6 psi, all the wrinkles come out of the drop stitch floor. and it gives its boat that beautiful shape. Don't overfill. You really, really don't need to. These boats, the design's there, it's fantastic. So we'll move on to the seats and these, and I'll go over these in a little bit more detail in a minute. I have reviewed Spinera boats before, and while I was really impressed with the boat, I wasn't impressed at all and was quite vocal about the seats. And I'd love to say it's because of me, but I'm sure it isn't. Now, they have gone all out on the seats. Full back support, halfway up your back. You've got 2 cup holders, a large Velcro pocket, standard sea kayak clips on the side adjusters, and then down below, and the jury's still out on this. They've swapped what would normally just be a loop through and come back through the rucksack buckle. They've added their own branded carabiners. Now on a warm day when everything's going fine, that's going to be absolutely great. When your hands are cold and it's mid-January, I'm just not sure how that's going to work. As I say, the jury's out. It looks nice, it does work. I'm just not sure it's for me. It's got a mesh pocket at the side, I love that. And to blow it up, like you would have on a rescue life vest, about 4 or 5 good blows, and you've got a really solid seat. But you haven't just got one, you've got 1, 2, 3 of those. Now these things, these are your footrests. There are only 2, and I've asked them in the shop why there are 2 of these and 3 seats, and he was really honest and said, good question. So I'm going to set this up for 2-person paddling. So I'm not going to go right down to the end one. I'm going to clip my branded Spinera clip in there and one in there, and that's going to go forward. So the heels of my feet are going to go against this, and I can put pressure on opposite side to what I'm paddling, just to give me that extra economy of motion. The Mole straps, there you go, right in front of me. There's my cup holder, semi-waterproof cube, and my beer, just when I need it. So we're going to go for a bit of seating now, and you can roughly guess where they go by looking at where the plates are. So these are accessory plates, fish finders, fishing rod holders, sat navs, that sort of thing. So we're going to attach the carabiners at the front here, and you can, depending on the size, height of who you're traveling with, you can choose any of these tags along. They've done away with the Velcro that runs down and instead used a whole host of other clips that you can choose from. The jury for me is still out on that. You got your standard kayak clips on this one, and then you tighten or loosen, give it a good shove down, and you'll notice this is a bit loose at the moment, so I'm going to force it back and then get my side straps about right for where I want to be. As I've already showed you, they've gone really high on the seat backs, and when you're in the seat you can really tell it's gripping you, and one of the reasons that happens is because of this lovely zip on the side, and it goes in a 90-degree angle, so it really keeps the seat together. But when it's unzipped, it can still fold down flat. Seat number 2, let's get that in. I'm a bit taller than my fellow paddler, and then I get my carabiner, which, have I said the jury's out on those? I'm still not sure. I don't know what it is about them that I'm not overly keen on, but there's something, you know, when they say go with your gut, I don't know. I'm just not keen. But when the rest of the boat is this quality, I don't really think that matters. It's superficial really, isn't it? The seats are amazing. There is so much room in this. So let's have a look at the specs. And what I love about these boats, they do part of my job for me. They have all of the specs printed onto the boat. So this is the Spinera Tenaya 160. It's that long, it's that wide. It's got it in feet and in centimetres. And it weighs 17.9 kilos. Now it didn't feel that heavy when it was on my back. And it takes 280 kilos or 618 pounds. And it is a 1, 2 or 3 person. We're going to test it in all of those modes today. But before we go, let's have a good look. I love these tensioning straps. Loose the tension, pull the tension on. That's going to hold anything you've got wedged under there. Tents, dry bags. Keep them all nice and in place. Standard bungees on the back. Nothing to complain about with all of this. All the stitching and gluing is perfect. It feels very strong. It's ergonomically correct. There are D-rings, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 10 D-rings up and down, or 5 each side, so you can decide exactly where you want those seats. Drain plugs, do make sure they're done up before you go out. You've got 2, 4, 6, and then the really important one, the 7th at the back. I took my wife out recently. This has nothing to do with this one, but I took my wife out in my kayak and we were loaded up for a romantic camping trip, and we went down the River Dart and then we literally filled up with water because I'd left the drain plugs open. Don't do me. Come to the front of the boat and you've got this wonderfully tough yet pliable. There's a lot of give in there, which is going to do you an absolute service if you come clattering into the rocks. It's bendy enough to absorb some of the pressure, but it's not brittle. It's not gonna break easily, that, and it's beautifully glued in. It's fantastic. Look at the size of this. It's about as long as a large great white shark. Absolutely awesome. This is going to be a real contender for the top dog on the inflatable kayak market at the moment. I can see it now. So I've done a little bit of fiddling and I've set the seats to exactly where I want them. And the last thing to show you, which on the Spinera takes seconds, is the fin. There's no screw, it's not the US box fit. The receiver is the US box fit. You see there's a little indentation there. That's where the pins go. Slide forward, click in. It's the click in weedless fin, 7 inches, nice and high in the water, so you can get into all those rock gardens and all those really shallow bits, which is exactly where I like to be. Pop it out. If you want to push it back a little bit, have it far back for different conditions, then you can do so. It's awesome. It's so easy. Out, in, bingo. I'll leave it out so I can lay it flat in the shade while I wait for my paddle buddies to come. So I've got the boat up pretty much how I want it now. I've got my light kit in the back and a brilliant little thing. I'm taking the third seat out and I haven't folded it particularly well. I've just folded it into a triangle and it goes right under the back of the boat. So that's a nice option to have. My other kit is there. A small bag of electricals. In here I've got a throw line. We're going out 2 vessels today. And at the front, just my heavier bag of kit, my stove, charcoal, all my cooking stuff, and of course my chili sausages. So this is roughly how the video is going to go. I've got 2 friends arriving at 2:30 when this lovely estuary, I'll show you the estuary now, this Southpool, this place is called, is absolutely beautiful. It's so quiet, a couple of cars going past here and there, a couple of people, very friendly, always wanted to talk. But this estuary, this tidal river, this will fill up somewhat. There is a jetty further downstream, so a local just told me, but I think we're going to get in here today, paddle down. We're going to go 2s up in the kayak first of all, get used to it, have a little test around, test its manoeuvrability, its stability. I'm going to do the stand-up test. I might even see if we can get 2 of us to do the stand-up test, because this is a big boat. This for me is, for the UK market, this is to rival what the Blackfoot would have been, or what the Blackfoot is in America. We don't have those fishing creeks and that you can just pop to. The waterways in our country, it's a very different system. They're either private or access is denied. So we're looking, certainly for my area, estuaries, some rivers, some mostly tidal rivers, and coastal areas. And this looks like it just could fill that gap absolutely perfectly. Some of my videos that you may have seen, I've done videos on all sorts of inflatable kayaks. I like to go kayak camping, and I've got a mate who comes down from Manchester and he fills my bloody kayak with more beer than a bloody off licence can carry, and burgers, Bert Whistle's burgers. So I forgive him because he brings good steak, good burgers, good sausages. But I've got a significantly smaller boat than this. This one here is going to give me a whole lot more scope for getting to different areas with good amounts of kit. It's only 5 inches, but it feels a lot more. I never thought I'd say that.
We are back to the ground, is it?
Yeah. How are you finding the inflatable? Is it your first time on one?
Yeah. I've never been on an inflatable kayak. Loaded up. It's comfortable.
Oh, the seats are
It's
amazing.
like sitting in an armchair.
Normally yeah, it is like an armchair. Normally the backs of the seats go to about here.
Yeah.
But
No,
they've extended these.
Support there. It's nice.
A little bit of wash. So much room as well. I can imagine 40 cans of beer, an ice box,
Fishing rod.
fishing rods, tents, sleeping bags, the whole shebang in
Pack
this.
it up, let's go.
How much room have you got at the front, leg-wise?
Loads.
Loads?
I mean, my legs aren't the longest, but I'm pretty good.
Yeah, I'm 6'3" and I can straighten my legs out.
I reckon.
Even with a first-time paddler, I was starting to realise this boat was all it was made out to be.
This is fantastic. I wish I'd done this years ago.
Yeah.
So stable.
Oh, mate, perfect. And you can get this boat and many others at AS Watersports. They've lent it to me yet again. And this lady bought her Mad River canoe 10 years ago from AS Watersports. 40 years they've been going independently. Cool place. So we've switched seats. Neville's now at the back, and we haven't. What we would normally do at this stage is move the seats a bit, because I'm like 105, between 100 and 110 kilos. Neville's around 60, so we're in the same configuration as we were when we started. So, but despite that, the boat's still sitting really well. It's not raised up at the back at all, really. I think the nose is slightly lower than we could get it, but it was just a little test. I wanted to see what the front room seat was. The posh seats at the front, eh?
It's pretty even.
Is it pretty even? It's sat quite even, is it?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Pretty fine.
So even with a big lump at the front, it still does all right. They are like armchairs, aren't they? Super duper. All the way up to there on your back. It gets the thumbs up from all three of us today, I think. Time for a quick stop and a refuel. That's what I love about inflatable kayaking. You can carry all your gear, pull up, do your cooking, have your dinner, get back out on the water. That for me is a day out. Now it's time to go to the next beach, get rid of Neville, put him in the canoe and test out a bit of solo paddling. Now it's all very well going in a straight line for long distances, but I wanted to see, could I spin this around? How manoeuvrable was it as a solo? I was impressed. My name is Dom, I am the Optimistic Adventurer. Please, while you're watching this video, hit the like and subscribe button. It really helps push the videos in front of other people that might like the channel. Thank you. Now the tide was rushing out now, so it was time to head back to the jetty, test this out in three-person mode, and we were absolutely astounded. I genuinely thought, and stay to the end for a full synopsis of this boat, but I genuinely thought this was going to be a 2.5 person boat, 3 adults, and we haven't got the seats set up absolutely perfectly for free paddlers here, but we are 3 fully grown adults and we fitted absolutely perfectly, and we're in about 9 inches of water. What a day. This place, that boat, good company, that was incredible. And if you'd have told me a month ago, that there's a 3-person boat that is good on a duo and is also good on solo, I don't think, no. And even right up until the minute today when we tried it, I thought it's going to be one of those, like a 2-man tent. We all know a 2-man tent is really a slightly bigger 1-man tent. But as you can see, it fitted 3 adults, and I'm 6'3". I'm quite a big guy. Very impressed. It paddles really well. And this place, love it. Absolutely loved it. The Spinera Tenaya 160. For me, and this is the meat and bones of it, if you just take your kayak out, paddling around coastal canals, rivers, lakes, managed sort of water, then go for the 140. Easy decision that. If you're just going to go on your own, go for the 120. If you are going to take luggage, beers, meat cooler, charcoal, wood, whatever, you know, camping supplies, if you're going to seriously take that, load that boat up with enough kit for you and a couple of mates, now you and a couple of mates, for you and a mate. So I'm thinking now, two man, sorry, my brain's going faster than my mouth. I'm thinking 2-man, double up, 2 people in that boat, loads of camping gear, couple 3-4 miles down the coast, set up camp, get your world set up on the beach. That is the boat to go for. I made a mistake a couple of years ago by getting a slightly smaller one, a 140-inch boat, and it just doesn't fit the bill for carrying loads of kit. Minimalist stuff, it fits fine. That boat, that one in the back right there that I've got to take back tomorrow and actually don't want to take back, that one can cope with all the gear and all your ideas. It's really good. I love it. Spinera, well done. You have put a cat among the pigeons of the inflatable kayak world now, because I know a certain community that are going to be going, that 5 inches does make all the difference.